about the duration of your time here with the College of Education and Professional Development. So today we are going to talk about this experience. For most of you, this is your first experience out in the classroom. Maybe a few of the elementary folks who had 343 or who have 343 right now have heard this feel a little bit before and are out, but otherwise this is it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what the expectations are for the clinical, some expectations for the College of Ed, and your progress here and how you move forward in our program, because I think there are some questions. I want to start by saying that when I'm looking at everybody looks really nice. I appreciate you reading the email and adhering to it. I have one student who emailed me back, and they said, well, Ms. Priest, my teachers all wore jeans. And so that's what I've known. So why is that a problem? Is it a problem? Well, it's not a problem. Let me just say that. Let's start by that. You are going to be in clinical placements, and we're going to talk more about the dress code here in a moment. But your teachers wear jeans, and they wear hoodies, but they're teachers, and they're hired in, and they have contracts and things like that, and it's just different. If you were in, let's say, School of Health Professions, and you were in nursing school, would you have a dress code? Yeah, you have scrubs, you have a certain uniform you have to wear. And so we just want to put forth as much professionalism as we can. I think that everybody here knows that teaching is not always looked at as this high profession that it should be looked at. And so we want, when we put our students out there, I had a teacher comment to me one time when I was in her building. She said, we can always tell who the marching students are because they're always dressed better than the teachers. And so you should be able to differentiate yourself. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. So just to get started, make sure before you leave, if you did not sign in on your way in, you need to do that. If for some reason your name is not on my sign-in sheet, just write it in and add it to it. Okay? This should take about an hour. If you need to sneak out, if you have a 2 o'clock class or something like that, you feel free to just sneak out. And you can shoot me an email and catch up on anything that you missed. This PowerPoint will be sent to you electronically, so no stresses about writing down everything we talk about. I'll also be sending you some other information tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to talk about what the clinical experience is, the expectations, how the placements are made, what to do before your first day and what to expect then, how you are evaluated, live text, and Aggie 4. Who in here knows what live text is? Okay, this is better than the session we had before. Who in here knows what Aggie 4 is? Even better. Okay, good. So we will talk more about that. I have a syllabus for you. Please pick it up on your way out. Do not leave without the syllabus. And we are going to, everything that's in the syllabus is covered through this orientation. Okay, so what is the level 1 clinical experience? It's a co-requisite with the class EDF 201. Everyone in here, with the exception of maybe a few people who did not receive credit last semester when they took the class, should be enrolled in EDF 201 with either Dr. Kingborn or Dr. Corrigan. So if you're not, and you think you might be here by accident or something, you can see me afterwards. It's 35 hours of general observation in a content-specific classroom. That's what this is what that means. If you are an elementary ed student, your placement is going to be in an elementary ed classroom. It could be in a kindergarten classroom or a 5th grade classroom. It just depends upon our availability in schools. If you're English ed, general science, math, social studies, any of our secondary contents, you will be placed in either a middle school or a high school in that content area. Art, PE, wellness, and music could be placed in elementary, middle, or high. You're just going to be placed in your content area. It's an opportunity to see real-life classroom situations, and it's your first major clinical experience with the College of Ed. There's a reason that it's right now. For the most part, everyone in here has taken general ed classes to this point. You know, when you have your curriculum sheet, all those classes on the front, everybody is on that same page, okay? This is really your first education experience. And so a lot of you, maybe not a lot, maybe just a few, you went to school and you were in great classes with great teachers, with great students and great peers, and it was just the most excellent experience, and you thought, man, I want to be a teacher. Yes?
Okay, so
and you're expecting a placement for this clinical, you do need to be clinical. Yeah. So back to what I was saying, you know, you maybe had this great educational experience and it made you think, man, I want to be a teacher. And that's awesome. And then you go into a classroom and there are kids in there with behavior disorders and problems. And there are kids in there who have special needs. And there are kids in there who just don't want to learn. And you look around and you think, wow, maybe this isn't for me. That's okay. I want to start by saying that. That's okay. We have this now because if for some reason after the semester you think, I do not want to be a college head, I do not want to go forward and be a teacher, you are not behind in any other content, you know, in any other major in the university. You can transfer to anywhere. And so that's why we have this early. We want you to get your foot in the door. We want you to see real life classroom experiences, and we want you to determine now whether or not this is really for you. And I'm just going to say this, if it's not, it's okay. And we talk to people all the time who think, you know, they wanted to do one thing and then they did something else. We have a lot of students who transfer in from nursing who think, I want to be a nurse, and then they get to their first clinical experience or they get in there and they're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. That's okay. We start with that. So that's where this clinical experience lies. It is your very first major clinical. We have 3 major clinicals. The level 1, which is this, the level 2, which is a 75-hour clinical. It's typically the semester before you do student teaching, and then our student teaching is a full semester. Sprinkled in there are a lot of 15-hour clinicals. If you're in elementary ed, they're for, you know, teaching reading or for special education. Secondary people, special education, everybody has that clinical, but they also have some middle school methods clinicals and things like that. Okay, expectations for level 1 students. The dress code. Dress code is always a discussion we have to have. We expect business casual jeans. That means, and I'm just going to say this. I say this typically, Dr. Allinger, if you have Dr. Allinger, she and I always kind of kid with her class, but you know, if you're a female student, you can go to Target or somewhere and buy a pair of black pants for $10 or $15, and you can wear those every single day and nobody's going to know, because nobody's going to pay attention. Same thing goes for guys. You can go buy a pair of khaki pants and wear those every single time you go. Nobody pays any attention to that. What they do pay attention to is that you are dressed professionally. So we ask that only on special dress down days would you wear jeans, and you need to clear that with your classroom teacher. A lot of schools on Fridays will have a dress down day, and if you're going to go to your clinical on a Friday, then you can clear that ahead of time. Hey, is it okay if I wear jeans? Obviously, there's a way to wear jeans professionally, and there's a way to not wear jeans. I like to wear jeans. I wear jeans sometimes with like a cute sweater or a jacket or something like that. I don't wear jeans that are distressed from top to bottom, that are way too tight. That not that I would wear, but that your thong underwear was hanging out of that. And I'm going to say things today, and you're going to go, oh my gosh. These are all things that I've had to deal with, things I've had to talk to people about, and if I'm anything, I'm real, and so please understand that. You need to be covered. Everybody needs to have everything covered, and it needs to not be too tight, okay, or too short. I had a call last year from a school. A girl was doing a clinical in her kindergarten class, and she wore something that you might wear out on Thursday night. She had on a way too short skirt and tall black boots. And when she bent, her entire back and rear ender showed. And so that was a problem, and we had to have a conversation. So I always tell my other students when they say, well, what should I wear? Does everybody know what gym spaghetti is? Everybody knows what gym spaghetti is. If your grandma and grandpa are going to take you to gyms on Saturday evening, what would you wear? Okay? Think of it that way. A rule that is before my time is the no tattoos or piercings except ears. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. So if you have tattoos, please keep those covered. Any piercings besides ear piercings will need to be removed or covered. And if you have any further questions, we can talk after the orientation. Personal hygiene is a definite must. Yes, I'm getting ready to say all these things. You have to shower. You need to shave or trim if you're a male. If you have long hair, please, and you're a gentleman, please keep it back out of the face. Do not get your clothes out of the dirty clothes hamper and shake them out and put them on. Please wear deodorant. Please brush your teeth. Those are all conversations I've had to have with people. They are not fun for anybody, but especially for me. The thing that goes back to the dress code is, how many people in here are secondary? Your English, social studies, okay. I'm looking around and a lot of you are probably about 19 or 20 and you just graduated recently. And so if you go into a school and you're dressed like a kid, you look like a kid. You blend in like a kid. You need to differentiate yourself. You're an adult now, you're a professional, you're a teacher candidate. And so when people walk into the classroom, they need to know that. They need to know who you are. We have a new social media and cell phone policy with our college. I will send it to you digitally tomorrow. It's a link, it's on my website. And what you will need to do is look it over, read it over, sign it, and send it back to me. It's really important. Basically, it goes over this. You are not going to put yourself in the classroom. You're just not. You're not even going to get it out to just do this, to check the time. Because we all do that. I know, I do it. You're not there. You're not going to do that. You're not going to text. You're not going to, does anybody even talk on it? I don't talk on it, but if anybody talks on it, you're not going to talk on it. And you're not going to be scrolling social media. Just don't have it out. If you can leave it in the car, I would just leave it in the car. I mean, I would not even bring it in the building with it. Because, let's move forward. I have as the second bullet, do not accept students as friends or followers on social media sites. If you are placed in a middle school and high school, and you walk in and the teacher introduces you, this is such and such, this is so-and-so, they are going to be our student observer in here for a while. What's the first thing the kids in that classroom are going to do? Look you up. That's the first thing they do. If you're in elementary and the teacher puts it on their note going home, or the kids remember your name, the parents are going to look you up. You're getting looked up no matter what. So just go ahead and be aware of that. The very first thing I would do when I leave this room today is I would get on my social media sites. I would make sure those are locked and private. It's the very first thing I would do. Then I would probably scroll through. And if there is anything that you would be embarrassed for your grandma to see or your pastor to see, I would delete it and get it off of there. Because even if it's private, somebody will find it. They'll figure out a way. They always do. So the best advice I can give is not to accept students, don't accept parents as followers on your social media sites. I always get this question. I am going to a high school and I have friends there because I'm just 20 and some of my friends are 17 and 18 and they still go to that school and we've been friends on social media for 5 years and we go to church together. Is that okay? Sure, it's okay. Those are previous relationships. Those are your buddies. This is all brand new, okay? These are people who you really don't know and you don't know anything about. So don't let them on there. When you do post, do not post about the school you're at, the students you're with or around or no, or any situations that you see, okay? Because anything can be read and misconstrued. A teacher, my husband's a principal, and so I have a lot of real life experience on the administrative side. And then I taught for 12 years, so I have a lot of real life experience on the teacher side. If a teacher in his school posted one time, worst day ever. I'm so over this, worst day ever, okay? If I'm a parent of a kid that's in her classroom and I'm her friend on social media and I'm going to think, oh, you got to spend the day with my kid. How could that be the worst day ever? You guys see where I'm going with that? It could have been that her dog died that morning. That's why it was the worst day ever. But I'm a parent and I read into that wrong and now I'm mad at her and I don't like her. Okay? Be very careful. Do not post. Do not discuss. If you, obviously, if you see something out there and you feel like you need to tell somebody or you need to post, you need somebody to know, I'm the person. Just get in touch with me, okay? So you must sign the social media policy and it back to me. You can take a snapshot of it. You can scan it. I just found out a week ago that you can use your notes on your phone, and there's a scanner that turns it into a PDF. Did y'all know this? I didn't know this. So I feel like I'm pretty hip on things, and I wasn't on this. So you'll just need to scan and send it back to me. I'll just keep it all in the file. All right, attendance. The beauty with this clinical is it is not a scheduled, set in stone clinical. Like, you do not have to go every day from 10 to 11 and at a certain school and for 35 days until you get 35 hours. That's not how this works. This clinical works as this. You're going to get your placement and you're going to contact your teacher. And let's say you have Fridays free. You're going to say, is it okay if I spend Fridays with you? The next 5 Fridays with you until I get my hours in? And they're going to be like, sure, that's good. No big deal. You're going to be able to schedule this for what works with you. Okay, that's great. That's great about it. However, if you schedule a time to be there, you need to be there. I have been sick all week, just kind of this whole like weird flu allergy kind of feeling. I don't know, just feel bad. And I have felt bad every single morning. But I got up, I took a shower, and came to work because it's just what I got to do. Do not schedule to be there at 9 o'clock on Friday morning and then go to Thirsty Thursday or whatever, and then wake up Friday and be like, oh God, what was I thinking? And then text the teacher and say, I'm not coming. Don't do that. I had someone, one of the first semesters I was here, sent a text to the teacher or an email that said, I'm not going to be in today. I have to print off a paper at the library and pay my water bill. Not an excuse. Not going to happen, okay? Because here's what then happens. If you miss repeatedly or you just don't show up or you show up late, the teacher calls me and they're like, you know, they're just not coming. And so then I call you and I just say, don't come back. You're getting no credit, you're not getting the hours. You can do this again next semester maybe. Okay? So don't let that happen. Work out any scheduling or problems or conflicts you have with your cooperating teacher. And when I send you your placement, I'll give you a contact for the teacher. Most of the time, I have all the teacher emails. Every once in a while, I'll not have a teacher email. And I will just put, please contact the school. If you have to call the school or contact the school, this is the best way. The secretary answers and you introduce yourself and you say, could I leave a message for teacher's name? Because they are not going to patch you right through. Can I leave a message for so-and-so to call me back on their plan? Sure, that's no problem. They'll write a note, they'll stick it in their box. Be patient when you contact your teacher. Some teachers are right on it. They'll contact you back in the next hour or so. They think, oh, sounds great. And because they check their emails. Not all of them do that. So send the email, give it 2 days. If they haven't contacted you in 2 days, send a follow-up email. Hi, I just want to follow up and make sure you got my email on Monday about me possibly coming in. I'm really excited. Okay. Then if in 2 days they don't answer that email, then you call and leave a message. And then if they don't answer that, you just call me, get in touch with me. Okay? For the most part, it shouldn't be a problem. Because what's going to happen is after I finish all this, all of the teachers I've placed people with are going to send them all an email and say, thank you so much for agreeing to host a student. Your student will be in contact with you in the next few days. Okay, so they're expected. Overall professionalism. You are a guest in the school. Dr. Lucas said this yesterday to student teachers who are graduating. You are a guest in the school. You are a guest in this teacher's classroom. Therefore, you know, my grandma always said, mind your P's and Q's. She'll always say, you know, mind yourself. Know your place. The best way is to just talk to them and just say, because some teachers, you know, you're going to be like, I need to observe, and they're going to be like, okay, there's a seat back there in the back for you, there's a desk for you, you can observe from back there. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Some teachers are going to be like, hey, would you care while you're here to grade these papers, or to sit with this student and give them their spelling test, or work with this small group, or, you know, this, yeah, that'd be great. Never say, I'm always supposed to observe. People would have done that, and then I get hateful phone calls. So always just be willing to, jump in. Yeah, because this is what is going on. And this goes down to the 4th bullet. You are building professional relationships. I have people all of the time, teachers emailing me, is so-and-so ready to student teach? Because if they're ready to student teach, I want them. Because they heard from their best friend, the teachers at another school that had this student for clinical that they're awesome. Or they're a heart tutor at their school and they're awesome. And they know them, and they've heard good things about them. This is your opportunity to really get that foot in the door, okay? While you're at the school, you have to follow all the school rules. Some schools don't want you to bring a drink in. Don't bring a drink in. Some schools don't want you to chew gum. Don't chew gum. If students are allowed to eat candy, don't eat candy. I had a principal call me one time and said, can you talk to this student who was like a level 2 student teacher? They keep eating suckers in the hallway as they're taking the kids to eat, and we don't have candy at school. That's one of our rules. Sure. That's a silly conversation I have to have with a 22-year-old. But I had to do it because they were not thinking. Remember your guest status, okay? Wear your ID badge at all times. Who in here has their clinical ID badge? Who has one? Okay, just a few. If you do not have one, the clinical ID, the ID office is located in Drico Library. It's on the first floor. As soon as you walk in, I think it's near the back, they can point you in the right direction. You will get a clinical ID badge there. That will be your ID badge for the rest of the time you're here. It costs $5. It just clips on. You can put it in a link or whatever you want to do. If you go into a school right now, you'll see the principal wearing an ID badge, you'll see the teachers, you'll see the custodians, you'll see the cooks. Everybody has to wear an ID. You do too. Because if I'm a parent and I walk in and I see you in my child's room, I want to know who you are. And if I see that ID badge and has that M on it, commercial, I'm like, oh, they're a Marshall student. Okay? So you have to have the ID. Okay. I sent out multiple requests for placement. Where would you like to be placed? Do you have transportation? You know, all of these general questions. Because, you know, what if somebody doesn't drive and doesn't have a car and they live on campus and I give them a placement at Spring Valley High School? Is that going to work? No. Okay? So I try to get all the information I can when I'm making placements to make the best placement for everybody. So I try to accommodate all of those. When we do placements, we try to give you a little bit of diversity. You know, if it comes down, like as placements move on, if you wanted to do all of your placements at one school, I'm going to be like, we need to move away from that school and see there are other kids and other teachers and other buildings. Okay. Also, if you have other clinical experiences, I mentioned 343, 446. Some of you may have that clinical experience. I've already placed you for that, and most of you have emailed me back and said, can I just stay where I'm at? Yeah, that's why I do that. I don't want you traveling all over the place trying to get these hours. And you know, once you progress, when you're level 2, you might have 3 or 4 clinicals. I try to put you all the same school, you know, for all the hours. Okay, so first day of school reminders. These are things that you need to know and check before you go the very first time. Everyone in here should have a background check on file or processing through Castle Ranch. You will not get any placement from me until that box is checked. Okay? Castle Branch was closed last week because they're in Wilmington. And so they closed down, I think, on Wednesday or Thursday. They opened back up on Tuesday. You couldn't even access their site between then. Now, my secretary, Tanya, has been checking to see who has background check and who doesn't. That has to happen. I've sent you a link to that. If you still are unsure about how to go about that, you can stop by the Scopes office. The Scopes office is in Jenkins Hall, which is where the College of Education is housed. We are doing a complete renovation of the building. And so right now, my office is in what we used to call the basement, but because we're fancy now, it's the lower level. As soon as you walk down the steps, you'll see a sign and it says Scopes. And so me and 2 other people are in that office. Candace Rowe, who is the director of our office, is in the office next door. We have all of the information for how to get a background check and for some other things we're going to talk about. So if you have a question or if you ever just, need some information or advice, that's your place to stop. So you need to print off the Castle Branch background check and take it with you. You're going to be taking notes. I would just suggest you take a binder, have it in there, because if you go to certain schools, they will not even buzz you in unless you hold that up and show them. Trust me, it happened 4 weeks ago. I had somebody call me crying. I'm like, well, maybe you gotta get it printed off, I don't know what to say. So, other schools may not even ask for it, but we require it, so make sure you have a copy of that. You'll need to report to the school office. Most schools now are totally locked down. Like I said, you have to be buzzed in, and just introduce yourself. I am so-and-so, I am here from Marshall University. I have been in contact with Mr. da-da-da-da, and I'm here to serve, okay? Introduce yourself to the secretary. If the principal's there, introduce yourself to them. Ask them if they need to see your background check. Make sure you have your ID on. Be dressed professionally. Be on time. If you have decided, if you've talked to your teacher and they said you could be there from 9 to 10, what time do you get there? 8:50. Who said that? That's my person. I think at the latest, 8:50. Be there on time. You know, a good thing to do if you've never been to the school before is to do a job spot. You know, figure out, okay, it looks like I'm supposed to park there. That's where the teacher was telling me I need to park. Okay. You know where you're going. Know what's going on. Make you feel better on your first day, because you're going to be a little nervous. But, and then the last thing is to listen and learn. You are going to be in situations or in classrooms where you're going to think, I would never do that. But guess what? You're not the professional in the room yet. So you need to just be aware, take notes, be understanding. There are lots of different kids and lots of different situations and lots of different teachers who have to try different things. Let's just say, for instance, if you walked into a school right now and you see a child screaming, bloody murder, let's say a fourth grader, screaming, and you see two adults and they have hold of this child and they are pulling him down the hallway and he's screaming, you're going to be like, what are they doing to that kid? Right? Like, first instinct, of course. But what you don't know is that this child has some major behavioral problems. And those two adults have been trained in CPI holds, and that's what they're doing. And they're trying to get him removed from the situation to de-escalate it and to keep him safe and to keep all the other kids in the classroom safe. You see? Okay. So first impressions, sometimes your first instinct is really not how it really is. Okay, so just be open-minded. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is life checks. Some people in here know what life checks is, some people don't, so I'm just going to give you a little brief synopsis. Life checks is a system that we use in the College of Education. We house all of our major clinical evaluations in the system, along with case study. You will submit your case study. I came to this. I have Dr. Morgan and Dr. Newborn talk to you about that. I think you submit your case study there. And you're going to submit things for other classes there. I do not know what's going on there, but. So, in life checks, once your placement's made, this is going to be sometime next week. I'm going to get these placements in life checks. You're going to get an email, and it's going to say a placement has been made for you in life checks. If you haven't gotten anything about life checks, I would suggest when you leave to check your spam folder, check your trash folder. Sometimes they end up there. I will send you Dr. George Watson's contact information in this giant email I'm going to send you tomorrow with all this stuff. And he is our life checks guy. So if for some reason you don't have an account, you can't find the email, you can't get it open, you can get in touch with him. He'll take care of you. Once you get a placement made in life checks, I'm going to send you these instructions. There's a tab at the top that says Field Experience, and you'll just click on that. And there, you'll see your placement. When you click View Placement, it's very user-friendly. And then there will be a time log on the right side of the screen. And you will add your time there. You'll just log all your time. You don't have a paper time log. So once you've hit 35 hours, you're finished. You're completely finished with this clinical, which is pretty great. So at that point, then your teacher, who you're placed with, will log in because they have an account. We give them an account, a username, and they will approve your time. Listen very closely. Do not try to, and I hate to use the word lie because it's a really strong word, do not try to pad your time, okay? Because you will get called out. Teachers will say, they weren't here for 2 hours on that day, they were here for 1 hour. and what will happen is you will get a no credit. So let's say you really did do 31 hours of time, and you put in, you did 35, and your teacher says, no, they did not. Then you lose all of that time, and you get a no credit, and you have to do this over. So do not lose 31 hours over 4 hours. Get right along with that. Really be honest with your time. So your teacher's going to log in, they're going to approve your time, and there's a quick evaluation. The evaluation is, I think, 10 questions, and it goes over everything we talked about today. Were you on time when you came? Did you attend regularly? Were you dressed professionally? Did you do what needed to happen in the classroom? Okay, these are situations that have gotten no credit. Are you ready? The student came in the classroom and, oh my God, I can't believe this. Okay, the student came in the classroom and got his laptop out and was watching Netflix. I asked him to put his laptop away, and he took his shoes off and took a nap and dozed off. True story. Another one was a student came in to get something signed or get something dropped off, I'm not really sure, and was so rude and demanding to the secretary that the teacher refused to even see her anymore and gave her unsatisfactory, and she had to redo it. There have been instances where, like I said, they repeatedly didn't show up, repeatedly didn't do the dress code, or things like that. If that happens, you're getting a no credit. You're going to get a disposition form, which we track through the college on professional dispositions, and you may have the conversation with me, you probably need to find a new college, a new major. Nobody wants to have those conversations. I don't want to have them, you don't want to have them, nobody wants to have them. Be very careful when you're be very professional when you're in the classroom. Another instance, it was a foreign language class, and one of the students who was observing said in whatever language it was to the teacher, "Are these kids stupid or something?" And the kids understood what the teacher said because they weren't stupid. So they were asked not to return. Be very careful. You're in there to observe. Everyone has to do a case study, correct? Still have to do a case study. So you're in there to observe, to pick up your student, you're going to do a case study on it to gather information and to learn what it's really like to be a teacher. All of your time needs to be in by December 1st. It is September 20th. You've got a long time to get 35 hours in, over 2 months. We have actually, because Dr. Moore and Dr. Gordon are so nice, and I'm so nice to them, I bumped this back 3 weeks from when it used to be. And I've got these places done. Let me just say this, there are 115 students registered for level 1 clinical. Therefore, if you have not responded to me, or you have not done your background check, you're going to go to the bottom of the list. Does that make sense? You got to do what you got to do. Many of you have sent me very specific things, like I talked to this teacher at the school and they were having a go see, and so I reach out to them and it's all good. Some of you have sent me nothing. You've actually liked my email, but even so, if that happens, let me just say this, don't complain. You get what you get. I do my best. Okay. All right. So all of that time needs to be in by December 1st. Let's say December 1st, and you need to remember too, schools are out for the most part. Most schools are out the entire week of Thanksgiving. They're going to be out for Election Day. They're going to be out for Veterans Day. November is kind of one of those months where there's a lot of time off. So don't put this off. Just start with that. If November 29th is rolling around, and let's say you've got 26 hours finished, and you obviously are not going to get the rest of those hours until December 1st, you need to get a hold of me and come talk to me. We can make some arrangements. We can work something out. But don't put it off. Get it over with. Get it done. Because when grades are due, grades are due. You know, Marshall, the registrar, they don't care that you only have 1 more hour to get this done. You're getting a new credit, okay? So please come talk to me if you have a question. The cooperating teacher has to approve your time, and they have to complete your evaluation. So once you do the time, I know how it feels like you're just putting all that on, you're putting your grade in the hands of the teacher you place with. Kind of, but I'm on them all the time. As soon as I'll start checking beginning of November to see who's finished their hours, but some people will, they'll finish quick. And I'll start getting that out to the teacher like that. Hey, your student finished their hours, can you please log in? If you have any trouble logging in, let me know. I'll help you. If they say they can't get logged in, I show up with their school and log them in and watch them do it. Okay? I take care of that. So, following this whole experience, you're going to get a survey link from me. You need to do that because all that does is let me know how did it go, was the teacher really good and helpful, and you feel like it was a good experience, or would you tell me to not ever use that teacher again because it was just a bad experience? Okay. All right. Add before. This is very important. Add before is our full admission into the College of Education. Right now, everyone in this room that is in education is pre-teacher ed. Nobody in here is fully admitted, okay? In order to be fully admitted, you have to check some boxes, okay? And if you have a curriculum sheet, everybody knows what I'm talking about, the sheet that has all the classes you have to take on the back, on the bottom, there's a box that says add before. It's on the very left. And it spells all of this out for you, but let me spell it out again. You have to successfully complete this clinical. You have to get a credit. You have to earn a grade of C or better in EDF 201, the class that's associated. Your GPA for Marshall has to be a 2.8 overall and a Marshall GPA. That means if you transfer it in, still has to be 2.8. You have to successfully complete all 3 sections of the Praxis Core exam. Okay. If you scored a 26 or higher on your ACT, that is waived. You can check that. We've already taken care of it on that. If you did not, you have to register for the Praxis Core and take it. Has anybody in here ever taken it? A few. Okay. It's pretty easy to register, correct? I have the information in my office. You register through a company called ETS. It's the same company that gives the ACT. We have the codes, the numbers that you have to register for. I think it's $150 to take all 3 parts. It's reading, writing, and math. So let's say you pass the reading and writing and you don't pass the math the first time. You can take just the math over at a reduced rate. Okay, I think 80 or 90, somewhere in there. But if you have questions on how to register for that, just come by our office. We have a flyer. We can get it out to you. I will do my best to scan that and attach it tomorrow to all this information I'm sending out. Here's what happens there. Okay, so, and then you have to have what's called an admin portfolio. It's in LiveText. We are going to do a sign-up sheet for this before you all leave. This is just a portfolio. It's really not hard, okay? It is a self-assessment. I am, how do you rank yourself in certain areas? Professionally, okay? It is a writing sample. It's 500 words or less. You have a writing prompt. It is scored. If your writing prompt comes, if it is scored and if the person who grades it does not pass you, it is sent back to you and you have an opportunity to redo it. And there are 3 recommendations for admission. These are links that are sent out to folks' emails. I've done recommendations for students all the time because up until this semester I've taught for the last 4 semesters. And so I've had students who were in EDF 201 or different classes. It's very easy. They click the link. Would you recommend the student for admission to the College of Education? What can you tell us about them? It might take them 2 minutes to do it. They send it in. It all goes to Candace Rowe. She has it all in this big spreadsheet, and she can check it off. Now, it's September 20th. This needs to be done by October you plan on taking ADME 4 classes in the spring. That means you've got your curriculum sheet. In the front of it's all the general stuff, and you flip it over. And at the top of it, it's real content specific. And in the middle, it has EM 201, 270, CISP 421. And then below, it's like a different color, okay? Those are education classes. Those are your ADME 4 classes. You cannot move forward and take those classes until you've checked all those boxes, okay? So if you are planning to get this done this semester and move forward, I highly suggest you get the portfolio open when you sign up for it. Now, does the praxis need to be passed by October 1st? No, obviously not. It needs to be passed by the end of the semester, after grades roll. Because here's the thing, nobody's going to be admitted until grades roll, because you're not going to have your grade for 201 or 270, okay? So, the most important thing to get done, though, is the portfolio. Just get it over with, get it done. It won't take you hardly any time. And like I said, we will open those up after you sign it. Now, some people ask this question, what if I open the portfolio up and I get the portfolio submitted and I pass 201 and 270, but I can't pass the praxis? Do I have to do a portfolio again? No. Once it's submitted and accepted, it's submitted and accepted, okay? So don't stress that. All right, so, does anybody have any questions? This is my contact info. You've been getting emails from me, so you have that email address. That is my office number. If you call me and I don't answer, I'm in and out a lot. I go see students in schools and things like that. Leave a message if it's really important. The best way to reach me though is by email. I try to email you back within 24 hours. Sometimes I'm out, I don't get to. But let's open the floor up for any questions, because I'm sure there are questions. Yes.
If we are not ready to do the ADME 4, do you still need to start that now? Or?
No, I would wait until next semester or when I was ready. If you know for sure you're not ready for that, you still have some classes to take and things like that, just wait. If you know for sure you're not going to have the GPA, just wait. Okay. Next question.
I'm just trying to go through that list or something.
Okay.
So is that okay? I don't
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I wouldn't go exactly in order. I would go in what's open and what, you don't have to have a prereq for or something to that effect. That would be the best thing that I would do. And the beauty of our program, and Candace has been very good about this, is seeing which classes, like you can double dip, triple dip, like History 230, I think, or 231, accounts for like 3 things. So, and it checks 3 boxes on that curriculum sheet, which is pretty good. So, we are very, I want to say that for the most part, our advising is very good. If you ever feel like that you need help with advising, you can always come to my office, and I will always sit down with you and help you to make sure, because our students can graduate in 4 years. Who's music in here? Okay, y'all have all kinds of classes, a million classes, and we have people graduating in 4 years from music all the time because they planned it perfectly. Okay, so we want you like your parents want you. We want you out here. We don't want you paying more bills, or having more debt, and we want you out in our schools. So, okay, other questions? Yes.
Yeah, with all the classes.
Yeah.
How is scheduling? Let's say you have a heavy schedule. How do you go about this?
You do the best you can. That's why we're starting it so early. And people who have done everything they're supposed to do, they email me back and they got their background check and they came to orientation and they're going to get places quick and they're going to get in schools. Okay? And if you have, I've got to figure it out, guys. You've got 2 full months. You've basically got 8 weeks and you have to do 35 hours. Do the math. Per week. 4 hours per week, or 5 hours per week. Anybody can probably pull that out. So, go in between classes, go before, go after. Music people, a lot of the times, even like my daughter's elementary school, they have an after-school ensemble, and so you could get hours then. Or bands, that have band competitions on Saturdays, and they, if the the director or the teacher will let you come in and do it. You know, that's my best advice. Yes.
I have a question regarding the music. Where do the classes change like every 50 or so minutes? And are we required to sit in the same classroom or can we observe?
No, and that's what I was gonna say, like, secondary people, you don't have to come at the same time every single time, you know? Or elementary people, or what, you know, elementary people, you're gonna see the same students for the most part. Some schools have some departmentalized classes in like 4th and 5th grade, which is great. But, you know, no, you don't have to sit there or have that same exact schedule all the time. So if you have a real problem with the scheduling and the teacher is not really willing to accommodate, let me know. We'll figure something out.
I had signed up for the background check, and I even got the badge because I bought the badge for it, just
Okay.
instead of paying more.
Okay.
But then it gave me something after I got everything successfully submitted, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, I'm not sure either. So, Tanya Ferguson is spelled Tony, Toni. She is, if you go to my office, she's sitting right there at the reception. She handles, you know, checking those off, and she, as long as she can help you with that. And I just want to say this too, if something comes up on your background check, and we have to have a conversation, I'll let you know. For the most part, you know, speeding tickets do show up. Obviously, shoplifting, DUIs, public intox, those are things I usually get from students of this age group. You know, if something does pop up, we'll have to have a conversation. You know, very rarely I've been here 4 years, and I've had one student whose background check came back, and I could not let that student go out into the classroom. And it killed me, because it was a great student. So, you know, like I said, your background check should, you know, it'll say pass or something like that. So just, you know, if you have any questions about it, Tony can help you, or if you want to print it off and bring it in, I can help you. You know. Yes.
I don't work schedule varies and stuff. Can we do it at different times or is that up to the teacher or what?
You just want to out with the teacher. It's really a flexible, clinical, and that's what's so good about it. So let's say you only have class on Tuesday, Thursday, okay? So, but some weeks you work Monday, Wednesday, some weeks you work Wednesday, Friday, some weeks you work all 3 days. You just have to, you'll have to just be in contact with them and say, is it okay if I come in on this day, this time, or, you know. So, like I said, I would try to get this started as quickly as possible, as quickly as possible. So, other questions? Fine. Also, I guess you notice, I don't do that just because I like watching myself or hearing. It's typically honky tonk, but today it's like stopped up honky tonk, so it's like super weird. I'm going to turn this off, but I will post this on our the site I was talking about.